All right, if you're a young man and you're looking to improve your life, but you have no idea where to begin, watch this video till the end because I'm going to give you the best place you could possibly start from, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to navigate yourself in that place, okay? So let's begin. If you're completely new to self-improvement and breaking out of the matrix and just making your life better overall, but you don't know where to start, what I would prescribe to you, anyone, doesn't matter who you are, what kind of upbringing you've had, where you're from, doesn't matter, this is universal, okay? And what I would prescribe to you is this. You may or may not have heard of this. It's been around for a very, very, very long time now, but it's called NoFap. And what this is essentially a process of eventually ridding yourself completely of the feeling of needing to watch porn and touching yourself. Now, everything I'm going to say in this video is solely based on personal experience. There are so many videos online that offer like general perspective and you know, just general advice, and they're all good. So I just thought I'd give you like my personal perspective, as this is a journey I've been on since I was halfway through my teenage years. But yeah, so let's get into it. Now, what exactly is this, like, properly? Yeah, what are the rules and regulations of doing this correctly? You've got, the first one is obviously no porn in any form. Yeah, it's obvious to think, oh, I'm not gonna watch the things that are like actual like porn, like the stuff on the hub, all that stuff, OnlyFans, all of that. Yeah, that's the obvious assumption, but it's not just that. It's the stuff that you might see when you're on social media. Yeah, when you're scrolling TikTok or you're looking at posts on Instagram. Yeah, you might bump into a picture of a girl who does OnlyFans, but obviously can't post her OnlyFans content on Instagram. So what does she do? She posts like some bikini picture, you know, buns out, everything out, almost out. Yeah, and it's that as well that you need to eliminate. Yeah, it's not just the actual thing, it's the soft core part of it as well. Because what happens is you tell yourself, all right, cool, I'm gonna get on this NoFap thing and I'm not gonna watch this stuff. And then you're scrolling and then you see some girl on Instagram with her cheeks out, and you're like that old voice in your head just starts screaming at you like, now you need to go watch like the full thing now. Yeah, you've seen it, you've seen the almost there version of it. Now you have to go watch like, it's just that, and you don't want to put yourself in that situation because it's like just an extra layer of work added, and there's no point in doing that. Another rule of this is no touching yourself. And I don't care if you think, I'm sure we've all heard this at some point, I don't care if you think that if you don't do that, what is it, like once every 2 days or something, you're going to get prostate cancer later in your life. I don't care if you think that. And I think, and that's a lot of people's first response to this. It's like, oh, well, the doctor said if I don't release ever so often, I'm going to get prostate cancer later in my life. And I just want you to think for a second. Yeah, I just want you to think. Just imagine back in the day, yeah, as a hunter-gatherer, yeah. Do you honestly think, first of all, do you think these guys were like every other day laying in their fucking straw huts and just stroking their shit every other day? Just think about it for a second. No, they weren't. They had shit to do. They had to get up and find food. They had to get up and defend themselves from other tribes. They had to get up and repair shit that had been fucked by the weather. All these things, just think about it for a second. The point I'm trying to make here is that like our bodies are not that flawed in their design, in that if you're not releasing one of the most potent life forces within you every other day, you're gonna get prostate cancer. Like, come on, man. To me, it's an obvious, just bullshit piece of information. But I think a lot of people, they fall into this thing of like, oh, the doctor said it, so I have to do it. And they use it as an excuse, and you shouldn't do that. So those are basically the two main rules. Now, there is actually a rule that I think a lot of people ignore, and that is that can you actually can have sex. I recommend just not doing one night stands and just hooking up like with random people every week, because eventually you realize that it's almost the same thing as just watching porn and touching yourself, like, because there's no like genuine emotional fulfillment, and it just leaves you feeling like you've wasted your time and energy. So yeah, those are the rules. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video actually regarding this topic is that there's something that you need to be careful of when it comes to this. Obviously, it's an amazing thing trying to gain control of your lust, and I think it's a huge part of developing as a young man. But there's a trap that I myself fell into that I don't want you guys to fall into as well. And essentially, what it is when you start distancing yourself from all of these lustful activities, yeah, what tends to happen is you tend to form a new perception of anything related to sex, and that perception is usually a negative one. It's usually, at least for me, it was like anything close to sex is bad and needs to be avoided at all costs, because otherwise I'll just get put right back. If I engage with it, I'll just get put right back to where I started, and I'm never going to see any progress, and therefore I just need to avoid it at all costs. And actually what ends up happening is that you block yourself from developing meaningful relationships with women, like actual relationships with women who genuinely have feelings for you and genuinely want to be with you, like as a couple. You tend to like push those people away as well, and that's not good. We shouldn't have a negative view of sex if it's if it's with someone who we're actually emotionally connected with. And that happened to me. It was like I would kind of distance myself into, like, in terms of intimacy. Every time I got the hint that she wanted to do something, I would kind of just like try and diffuse it, because in my mind I'm like, no, I'm on this journey, I can't slip up now. If I release, I'm gonna get put right back to where I started, and I'm gonna lose all my progress. And it's not a very like good, because it's something that you're never going to be able to maintain long term. It's like we're humans, we're supposed to be connecting with each other and sharing intimacy with each other. If it's like if it's emotionally charged from both parties, we should be doing that. We shouldn't like shy away from that just because we know that really like holding in our life force energies is good for us. So I think in terms of like watching stuff online or on social media and touching yourself like when you're alone and one night stands, I think bin that all off. Like there's nothing in that. But when it comes to actually sharing intimacy with someone who you have feelings for, I don't think you should be scared about resetting your progress, or because a lot of people think that like, oh, if I get to day 100 of not releasing and not watching anything, then my life will change. And it's like, that's not what it's about. It's not about reaching X number of days. It's about eradicating this lustful need for like instant dopamine from releasing, and swapping it out for appreciating intimacy and connection with another person. So don't fall into that trap, because I did, and it's not a good state of mind to be in for you and for the other person. All right, so now let's get into what exactly you're going to see when you are on this journey, if you're doing it properly. So I'm going to split this up. I'm going to go days 1 to 7, and then I'm going to go days 7 to 30, and then I'm going to go days 30 to 90. So let's start with this. Now, this is the hardest leg by a mile. Yeah, like without doubt, this is the hardest leg by a mile, because in the first like week, there's there's everything to lose and not really anything to gain. Like all you're doing really is just trying to change your mindset. It's not so much like a physical change in yourself and your confidence and your aura. It's just it's a mental battle. The first 7 days for me is like the hardest mental battle, because you're so like stuck in your old ways that like anything can just trigger you and put you back to square one. It's like it's so easy in the first week. So it's a mental battle, but also you don't feel great, like physically. Like you're lethargic, you have brain fog, your confidence is low as well. And that's because when you're doing all these lustful things on a regular basis, subconsciously you get a bit ashamed of yourself, because it's like, why can I not have real connection? Why do I need to resort to like this for that release? You know, it's not like you're with another person. You're just kind of like locking yourself away and doing it by yourself. And subconsciously your brain's like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? You know what I mean? So you feel low, you feel lethargic, you got brain fog, low confidence. That's why it's so hard. It's because it's like everything's against you. Nothing's really working with you. But after the first week to the first month, for me, is like the best, like it's the most like rewarding in a sense, because you've just exited like the dense foggy forest, yeah, and you've just left, and you still have parts of like the lethargy and the brain fog and the low confidence that's still kind of there, but you're starting to feel like the shame is starting to go. You're starting to feel a little bit more proud of yourself, because you've actually like you've gone a significant amount of time without engaging with this lustful stuff. So your confidence goes up a lot, yeah, because it's like you're proud of yourself, you know, and you haven't really gotten used to it yet. So it's even more rewarding, because it's like that feeling of when you've just climbed a mountain and you've just reached the top and you're like, wow, that's fucking cool. You know what I mean? So your confidence is up, your brain fog goes down a lot. You feel like at least for me, my decision making became almost instantaneous. Like I knew exactly what I wanted to do every minute of the day. I knew exactly how I wanted to do things. I never questioned my own judgment. I was kind of just guided by intuition and my own confidence, really. You know, your brain fog just alleviates itself and things become a lot easier. But another thing as well is that because you're kind of rid of the shame now. Yeah, like the shame of being this kind of incel, it's gone. So what happens is you tend to, because obviously we still want to like engage with intimacy in the correct way. What tends to happen is we tend to like open ourselves up to approaching people that we find attractive, you know, and we start having the confidence to like send choosing signals to people, and having conversations with people, like, you know, making eye contact with the girl in the gym that you really like, or walking down the street and just saying hi to a person that you think looks attractive. Like it becomes a bit more natural. It becomes a bit more like, yeah, I can do this kind of thing, you know. So you begin approaching, I'm gonna put women because I think the majority of you guys are men, but yeah, you begin approaching people and you begin seeking that intimacy. Now what might happen is, if you're like a really put together person, what will happen is you might not even get to this stage. Now what you need to be aware of before I move on is that this stage is where you might find the confidence to approach people, but then that person just leaves the morning after, and then there is a tendency of feeling like you're back here. But that was what I mentioned earlier, is like if you're here and you have a one night stand, you're not back to square one. Yeah, like I know on paper you are, but you're not really. Like the problem is when you repetitively engage in it within a short period of time. That's when the problem arises. You can go 100 days or whatever, you can go any number of days you want, yeah. If you then release with another person, of course, if you release, you'll still have like 95% of all the confidence and all the clear-headedness and all the like you'll have the reward still, yeah, but you'll lose it if you carry on abusing your power, right? So I want to make that very clear. You will begin approaching people and you will begin to seek that intimacy, but this is where a lot of people get caught up and they abuse it, and eventually they go back to square one. So just be mindful of that. Now, this is kind of like the best and almost the worst. Obviously, you've kind of like you're completely clear now. Like you've dissolved your lustful tendencies completely. Like if you can make it to this, you're pretty much good to go. Like you're pretty much back to being a normal functioning human when it comes to lust, of course. But what also happens is all of the benefits that you notice from this, you kind of become used to them, and there aren't as many instances where you like wake up one morning and you feel like this new energy within you. That happens a lot during this, right? Because like you're over it now and you're comfortable with the new version of yourself. But again, it's like you kind of get used to it, and it could be a little bit demotivating because it's like it almost feels like you're not being rewarded anymore. I think a lot of people they call it flatline, yeah, and I experienced this myself. And actually, what happened was I made it to like 70 days. Up until 60 days, it was like best time of my life. You know, I'd wake up every day feeling some new type of confidence, and I was like ready to go. And I only needed like 4 or 5 hours sleep a night, and I was so on it. But after 60 days, the 60 to 70 days, I just stopped feeling that, and I'd wake up and I'd be like, I want more. You know, like I want more energy and confidence, and it wasn't there. And eventually, what happened was, I know it sounds a little bit self-destructive, and I guess I do have a tendency to be a bit self-destructive, but what happened was like I would rather try and put myself back to square one to then climb the mountain again than just stay in that high vibrational frequency that I was at when I was there. And it's not worth it. Yeah, from experience, it's not worth it. It's like you don't want to leave this, I'm telling you, right? Because you think that this, going back to this, isn't as bad as it actually was. You kind of forget when you've made it this far, you kind of forget how bad it actually was, and you kind of lie to yourself, and you're like, I might as well go back, but you just don't. Please, just don't go back, because it could be a while before you make it that far again. Like you just don't know. But I mean, other than flatline, it's like you are completely, and I'm not going to put anything else other than this, you are completely clear of negative frequency from lust. You're completely clear, yeah, completely. Like you will be able to speak to anyone, you will be able to get 4 hours of sleep a night and wake up and you feel like you've had 8. It's like your intuition just goes up. It's like you become luckier as well. At least that's what I found. You just become luckier, I guess. Like things just go in your favor, whether it's in work or, you know, school or whatever. Like it's like the universe just favors you, you know, because you've rid yourself of all this negativity. But yeah, clear, completely clear. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what I wanted to say to you guys today. So yeah, if you don't know where to start in terms of self-improvement, you know, if you know you want to improve your life, but you don't know where, and you have all these ideas about businesses that you want to start and people that you want to be like, and all these things, like you will not be able to achieve them until you control your lust, because in controlling your lust, you turn it into an energy that you can harness for yourself. Instead of being possessed by lust, you now have this huge reserve of like energy from not engaging with these things and constantly depleting yourself of your life force. You now have this huge energy pool that you can just transmute into all aspects of your life and improve your life. And that's why I'm prescribing this for anyone who doesn't know where to start, because this, like, it gets the ball rolling quicker than anything else. Yeah, so yeah, good luck.